Say to all of you graduates today, how many of you believe that you can do whatever it is that you put your mind to do? I want you to raise your hand for me. If you believe that you can do whatever it is that you can put your mind to do. In saying that, in the words of Spark Anderson, he stated that success isn't something that just happened. Success is learned. Success is being shared. And the part that I want you guys to remember today is success is what's shared. So I want you to turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor success is shared.
Success is shared.
So I want each of you to understand today to aim always for extraordinary opportunities. I never want you guys to aim for average. Because if we take a look at history, those people who have made a mark in history have been people who have been extraordinary people who've made bold steps to be able to leave their mark in society. As I'm reminded of Mayor Evans today, as I drove up on campus, he was one who made a bold statement to help voter registration in the state of Mississippi, and because of that, Mayor is in history today as a result of that. So I want each and every one of you guys to always make bold statements, because it is bold people who have been extraordinary to be able to make an impact in society. As I look across this luncheon today, I see the future of the state of Mississippi educational system, and it is bright. Each of you have what it takes to move our educational system to the next level. And today, as I was preparing to come and speak, I started to think about principles that have allowed me to attain the success that many of you see today. And I thank Alcorn State University for, sometimes people see me in the community and I'm in the airport and places and people are like, I saw that Alcorn tweeted something about you, and I'm really thankful for Alcorn State University displaying what God has done in my life. And today I want to share some very simple principles that I used in my life. When I was talking to Ms. Anderson and I wanted to find out what it was that she wanted me to speak about today, and she said, I want you to share today some principles that have helped me. And when I began to think about that, I began to think about, I could have said a lot of things here today, but I want to share some very simple principles that I've used in my life. Sometimes we attain education and we attain certificates, but sometimes we forget very simple principles that can open doors for us and move us into a path that we are on today. So today I want to share is 5 principles. And that number 1 principle that I use in my life is the very first principle, and my grandmother taught me this, is being polite and kind. The golden rule of treating others the way you would have them to be treated. That has been a principle. My grandmother would always tell me, she said, Duvalier, you can go and you can be educated and you can hang out with some of the biggest in the nation. She says, but you have to always know to how to treat people and be kind and to be polite. And so I want to challenge each and every one of you today to always be polite and to be kind, because being polite and kind can open up doors and opportunities that education and certificates sometimes cannot do. And the second principle that I want to share with you today is respect. Albert Einstein stated that I speak to everyone in the same manner, whether he's the president of a university or whether he's the garbage man. And that's been a principle that I use in my life on a day-to-day basis. Whether I'm in the airport and it's the flight attendant that I'm speaking with, I'm always respectful, because you never know who you are in the presence of. So I want you guys to leave out of here, number 2, remembering to always be respectful, and that no matter what a person's status is in society, that they demand respect. And the third principle that I want to talk about is hard work. A mentor that I look up to and had an opportunity to meet when I paged on the Hill is Colin Powell, one of the first African-American secretaries of state. And one of his quotes that I live with daily is, hard work is but a dream and does not become reality through magic, but through sweat and hard work. When Adrian was introducing me today, and he was talking about the different enterprises of Duvalier Malone Enterprises and where I am today being featured in the September edition of Ebony's 30 Under 30, and having the opportunity to rub shoulders with some amazing leaders here in the state of Mississippi and across the nation. The reason why I have had that amazing experience is been because of my hard work. The vision of Duvalier Malone Enterprises was given to me in 2004 when I graduated from high school, and I came here on the campus of Alcorn State University, and I was trying to figure out my major, and I knew I wanted to go into government, into law, and so I began to major in political science. And one day I just had the vision of Dream to Succeed, which is now one of my scholarship foundation, and we just had an awards program with the Honorable James Meredith on last week. And we gave away 2 scholarships to some students who were going to the University of Mississippi. And over the state of Mississippi, we've given over 10 scholarships out this year. But that dream was in 2004. And as a result of that, in 2012, I launched what was called the Youth and Legends Ball and Duvalier Malone Enterprises. So what I'm saying is, it took all of those years in order for my vision to become flourish today, and it's been because of my hard work. When I started at the Department of Veterans Affairs in 2009, I worked 8 hours, and then I worked another 4 hours on the computer, sending emails, building my website, working on my business plan. And that took a lot of hard work and dedication. When I took vacations, I didn't go on vacations just to vacation, but I was working on my vision and what many of you see today as Duvalier Malone Enterprises. And so I want each and one of you to understand, I know that we have goals and objectives and different visions that we have, that we're going to, say, okay, well, when I leave here, I got something else that I want to do. But I want each and every one of you to remember that dreams are just dreams, and we're not working hard at it, and it takes hard work. And the 4th principle that I want to talk about is caring for others. And caring for others is the reason why Duvalier Malone Enterprises has received the national attention that we have received. And another very awesome quote that I live my life by, which is the theme of the 2013 Youth and Legends Ball. And I teach all my mentees and students across the state of Mississippi to live their life by this theme. And the success is not counted by how high you climb, but how many people you bring with you. And always find your passions and callings and connect it with a greater service. When we look at the enterprises of Duvalier Malone Enterprises, the Growth Talk radio show came out of an opportunity speaking with Mr. Evans there in Jackson, Mississippi. And I told him I want to go home and give back to the community. And Growth Talk radio show, I came home and I started the show, and I had Congressman Harper and Congressman Thompson on there. We were talking about unemployment. And just that opportunity of service, me driving, leaving from my regular job, getting off, going to a radio station, driving 2 hours down the road, within 60 days of that, WDBD called me and said, we want to give you a TV show to broaden your horizons so that you can reach more people here in the state of Mississippi. And so what I'm saying is, because of my service and because of my caring for others, has allowed my organization to grow and us to receive that attention. When you look also at Dream to Succeed, the reason why we receive attention from the governor and people across the state of Mississippi is because we're giving back. We're helping those students in needy communities, students from Hurricane Katrina, students from single-parent homes, poverty-level communities who would never have had an opportunity to receive an education. That's what we're doing, mentoring those students and nurturing those needs and callings here in the state of Mississippi. And lastly, when we look at the Youth and Legends Ball, was an opportunity to bring state leaders here in Southwest Mississippi and meet young people who would never have an opportunity to travel outside of Mississippi before venturing off to college. So what I'm saying today is, when you find a need and a calling for something greater than yourself, then God will allow opportunities and doors to open that you could never imagine. And the 5th thing and the last and final thing that I want to talk about today is delayed gratification. As I talked about earlier, the vision for Dream to Succeed came in 2004. I would have never thought in a million years that Dream to Succeed, an opportunity to give back to students, the opportunity that I received at the age of 16, would have turned into this organization. And I want to read to you what delayed gratification can be thought of as an instant gratification saved for later use. And so what I want you guys to understand is that you're going to have failures. That is a part of success. And what I want you guys to know is failing does not make you a failure, which means that you're going to keep trying, and failing is a price tag for success. So I want you to turn to someone next to you and say, failing is not an option. And so when you look at myself, and as I told people across the state of Mississippi, you're looking at someone who people predicted that would be a failure. I had a middle school teacher tell my mother and pull her to the side and say, I think Duvalier may need to be put in special education because he's hyper and he's not comprehending. And she said, I don't really see him receiving a high school diploma. And my mother at that time, she took me to my pastor, Bishop Cersei there in Natchez, Mississippi now, one of my spiritual mentors. And he had an opportunity to pray for me. And from that point on, at the age of 16, I had an opportunity to travel to the nation's capital. And that's where my book comes from. And I traveled to the state capitol, winning an essay contest. Had never traveled outside of the state of Mississippi in my life. Had never been on an airplane before in my life. And had an opportunity to go there to Jackson, Mississippi, and at that time Frank Melton was the mayor. Had an opportunity to start, and I had an illuminating moment, an awakening moment is what I call it. I've always had a dream to be in a community and to give back and to work in politics and service. And at that time, I had an opportunity to meet people who were already doing what I was doing, and that's where the Youth and Legends Ball came. And then I went on to Washington, D.C., and I had an opportunity to meet Congressman Thompson and Congressman Greg Harper, who are both my mentors now and my political counselors. And they're actually going to be writing the forward for my book. But I had an opportunity to meet them and to see what I was dreaming and what I saw on TV a reality. And so, in saying that, that's where I gave my life back to service, to say that we're going to have this Youth and Legends Ball to invite legends so that these young people can have an opportunity to meet legends and people in their career fields that they want to go in. And so what I'm saying is today that the reason why that I have been successful is because I've had mentors. And so I want each and every one of you today who are finishing up and wrapping up this program to find a mentor, someone who has been where you wanting to go to mentor you along this journey. And I want to share with you a quote that I love, and my prayers are with him at this hour, Nelson Mandela, who stated that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. And so I want to ask you guys these questions today, that dreams are just dreams without hard work and dedication. And it is very clear that you're dedicated because you're standing here today having completed this AmeriCorps training program. But I want to ask you guys just a few questions as I wrap up today. What comes next? Let's think about that. What comes next? Who are you going to be when you leave here today? How will you respond if you don't get that job that you want? What happens when students don't get it? Those are times that you ask yourself, who am I going to be? How are you going to take what you learn to serve others? As AmeriCorps theme is tutorers with a mission. So how are you going to take what you learned today to be able to serve others? You can't stop serving when you leave here today. As Dr. Martin Luther King once stated, that the true measure of a man is not how he behaves in the moment of comfort and convenience, but how he stands at the time of controversy and challenge. If you all remember the wonderful lessons that you've learned here at AmeriCorps, there are no obstacles or failures that you guys cannot face head on. I am confident that there is no obstacles that will come that you guys will not be able to face. I want to say today that I'm very proud of all of you guys for the accomplishment. I pray Godspeed, and I also thank you guys for the opportunity to speak here today. Continue to remember, if you don't remember anything that I say today, I want you guys to remember to live your life to serve others and to always reach back to the community. And when you reach back to the community, I guarantee you that the hand of God and the blessings of God will rest upon you. Thank you guys, and God bless.